Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Jade Alberts from Calgary, Alberta. I'm a small business strategist, influencer, and brand builder, and my passion is helping small businesses grow and succeed. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started to Telling It Like It Is Facebook live show. It is a live show, so if you do have any questions, please put them out there. We will answer them. If you're watching this after the fact on another social media platform, we will respond to your questions. I'd like to thank Healthy Heart Sleep Company for sponsoring today's chat. They are Calgary's premier sleep apnea CPAP company. They are locally owned and have 2 locations. As usual, support local. Today's guest is Kylie Woods of ChicGeek. Kylie, thank you for joining me, and how are you today?
Thanks for having me, Jade. I'm excited to be here and I'm doing well.
Oh, that's great. I know big changes are coming in your life. So, I mean, to sit there, I mean, you're going to be how many weeks away from having twins?
Yeah, you can't see this from how I'm sitting, but I'm 32 weeks pregnant with twins, which is pretty exciting. It's kind of the next chapter of my life and career as well. So,
I know you're going to be excited. We had a little chat beforehand about children, and I mean, nothing's more rewarding than and watching your children grow and succeed in life. That's for sure.
well, I'm looking forward to it, Jade.
Absolutely. I'll give a little introduction to Kylie here, and we'll get going. She is passionate about technology, entrepreneurship, and community building. She's a founder of ChicGeek, a Calgary-based nonprofit that curates content, people, and companies to build more supportive community where tech-enabled women advance their careers. Through the technical talks, networking events, and flagship conference, the ChicGeek, it helps women build their confidence, learning new technology skills, and provides more women as leaders in the space. You can learn more at chickgeek.ca. I will put it in the comment section down there, so all you have to do is click on the link when you see it. And I know you and I met through startup chats, and then we had a coffee in Calgary. So who says Twitter's not useful? Which is great. And through that coffee, I was thoroughly impressed with your passion for ChicGeek. So, please share, how and why you started it.
Sure. So I started ChicGeek back in 2013 after I had kind of stumbled into Calgary's tech and startup ecosystem. And I was so inspired by the energy, drive, the passion of the entrepreneurs that I met. And I knew that if I could get involved in this space in some way, I would build a career that I never wanted to retire from. And that was really exciting for me. So, I started getting into the space, and what I learned was that there were very few women in technology. Going to a lot of events, there were few women like me. And so it became my mission to change that. And that's where ChicGeek was born. So that's kind of the starting story.
Well, and that is interesting. So how did you come across seeing that there was a lack of women? Was it just an aha moment, or were you trying to find mentors yourself and inspiration?
It was a little bit of both. So I was trying to become more technical myself, kind of found myself consistently, the only woman in the room at a lot of events I was going to. And on the other hand, I also talk a lot about how ChicGeek is an organization that's been built on coffee and conversations. So I was going for coffee with a lot of people trying to understand the ecosystem, the problems and challenges we were facing in it. And it consistently came up that diversity, lack of women in technology was this challenge. So that's kind of where it came from, Jade.
Oh, that is very interesting. And I mean, as I've been in the entrepreneur section now for about 14, 15 years. I've really noticed that not only on the women's side, even the men's side. Sometimes there's, we're out there, we're looking for support, we're looking for help, and the community is not there, which is why I like the Rainforest and why I started Founders Coffee, and even this for that matter, to have someone that they can actually talk to and reach out to. So I guess, has it been, how has been your evolution with ChicGeek?
It's a different place today. And I think, things like, what you're doing with your coffee conversations, what we're seeing with Rainforest, there's so many other groups, organizations that are contributing to build a more, welcoming, collaborative, inclusive ecosystem that we've come a really long way from where we started, which is exciting. I will leave it at that.
Well, I mean, I think it's really good, and I love hearing that, your comments saying how things how it's, the evolution of been, and it is out there. And one of the things that I really like about ChicGeek is that you have the mentoring faction in there. I guess when you meet these potential women to add to the program, or ones that are very new, how do you guide them? Is there a plan, or is it really different for everybody?
Yeah. So mentorship is one of the key programs that we run at ChicGeek. And we do that because we know that mentorship is a really important influencer in the success of a woman's career. So we kind of provide the framework in our program for mentees and mentors to connect. That means that we facilitate the space, bring in external speakers and resources to help both mentees and mentors develop. But ultimately, what makes the ChicGeek program unique is that it is a very mentee-driven program. So, Jade, I think that mentorship it's very much a buzzword. Like, a lot of people are talking about it.
Yes.
But doing it well takes a lot of work from both sides. And what we've actually learned in our experience running a mentorship program over the past 5 years is that the real linchpin for success is what the mentee is willing to put in, and having a mentee-driven program. So what that means then is that the experience for each mentee is slightly different because everyone is different, but they get what they put into the program. And we often talk about, well, how do you find a mentor and how do you know someone's the right fit for you? But we don't as often talk about how do you be a successful mentee, and what things do you need to have, what things do you need to know yourself as a mentee in order to find the right relationships for mentors, which is
I think that's such a valuable point there, because we have, I think we probably had a few Twitter chats about this with Startup Canada about mentorship. And I've had my mentor since 1999, and it has been a wonderful relationship. And I've learned so much from Rob, and he's based in Calgary, and we at least meet twice a year. But we always talk about, when I always tell someone to find a mentor. You don't have to just all of a sudden saying, "Oh yeah, you're my mentor. Let's make it work." You can. It's almost like an interview. I said, "Are you going to work together? Are we compatible?" It's really a relationship of honesty and trust, and that's kind of, it's so great to hear someone like yourself say that, and that's how you're guiding people along the way.
I think it's also because we can find mentorship in not just people, but in podcasts, books, great articles, events. There are mentorship moments that happen in all sorts of places as long as you're willing to look. And, I've been really lucky in this journey with ChicGeek, Jade, where I have been a mentee over and over and over again. And that's one of the best experiences I've had in this whole journey.
That's great to hear. I know I have learned so much from being a mentee. It's priceless. And again, I think, as you said, learning to be a mentee, you have to be able to take, possible criticism or whatever they're going to say. But the most important part is actually listening to what they're saying. And a lot of people say, "Oh, I got a mentor," but like you said, it's a buzzword, and they don't listen to what is being told to them. I know I listen to what Rob tells me. Sometimes I take it and implement it, or maybe it's just something I'm able to pivot in a different way. And even when I was pivoting my business a little bit, realizing I want to be a little more local, he says, "Why are you trying to, do business outside of Calgary?" And it's like, you know what? You're right. Why? So it is something. It's something that's crucial to listen to them as well.
Yeah, I think that idea of being coachable is really important as a mentee, which is the ability to, know what you want to get out of the conversation or the experience, and actually turn it into action, and then be able to circle back and share, "Hey, thank you for that advice, that time. Here's how it changed my trajectory or what I'm doing," is really important.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Bang on. So I guess you probably have a few success stories. Would you be able to share one with us?
Like general success stories, or what's related to mentorship?
Maybe someone who's maybe come through ChicGeek and has moved on. I guess it kind of rolls into my next two questions. If there's a success story, what happens to them after they leave your program? Do they come back and give, or they become a mentor themselves? Do they want to give back to the program?
Totally. Okay, let me think about that. We've got a lot of success stories, so I'm like, which one should I share?
Wow, that's good.
One that happened recently in our mentorship program was a woman who was running her online fitness kind of training business. And she was doing it on the side, working full time. So she's got this side hustle project. And her goal in the mentorship program really was to quit her full-time gig and do her passion all in.
Yeah.
And over the course of this 6-month mentorship program, she set really clear metrics about what does, revenue success look like? What kinds of marketing targets does she need to hit? And by the end of the program, she had submitted resignation at her full-time job and was working full-time for herself, which was pretty cool.
Well, that is
and,
awesome.
I'm hoping that one day she'll come back when things are maybe a little slower for her and actually be a mentor in the mentorship program. But we do see a lot of that cycle happening where someone comes in as a mentee and then becomes a mentor. And, even 5 years later, they might come back as a mentee because they're at a different stage, at a different point in their career, and they still need that support. So mentorship is this wonderfully kind of fluid thing that we can all come back to.
Yes.
At any stage.
Oh, no, I absolutely agree. I mean, I think that's something that, people don't realize that how important it is to give back, especially the knowledge that you learn, the stories that you have to share and guide, and it doesn't have, it could be for a cup of coffee once a year even, but to help somebody and make sure that they're going down the right path and learn from your mistakes and your knowledge is priceless. And I'm really happy to hear that people want to come back and give, it's just something that's, close to me and I love doing. And I mean, I can go back and we were out at, Kananaskis this weekend for spring break, and we're staying at the lodge, and there's a kid that I used to coach back in Pee Wee hockey, and I met him for a drink there, and I meet him, probably a couple times a year. We talk and make sure, and he asks me questions, and I mean, and that relationship started when that young man was, 13 years old, and now he's a growing guy, and he's loving life, but again, sharing those, you never know where your first little mentorship. I didn't know I would, these kids looked up to me that much, and I'm friends with a lot of the kids I used to coach in hockey, and a lot of them are successful. Most of them more successful than me, but I mean, it's so awesome to hear that people are willing to give back. That is great.
And I think that's something, Jade, we see in kind of the startup ecosystem in general, is this pay it forward mentality, where everyone remembers that there was someone who lent me a hand once, who helped me out, who took the time, who gave me an introduction. And it makes it so much more willing to, like, when you get to that stage where you can give, that you do that as often as you can, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I think that could be the most accurate comment I've heard, because when you're in a corporate event, it's all about me. How am I going to do? How am I looking? What do I have to throw somebody under the bus to get that next promotion or raise or title? But I agree with you. I mean, when I'm walking down, and I'm actually going to go to the Rainforest Lunch Without Lunch today, and you sit there and you start talking to these other entrepreneurs, and everybody is willing to listen, willing to talk, willing to share their story with you. And it's great. And having people like yourself even come and share your story on this is priceless. And someone might watch it and say, you know what, I want to become, a mentor or a mentee, or maybe that's it. Maybe I don't need to pay thousands of dollars a month to have someone coach me, which is a whole different world. Don't get me wrong, but just to have someone that I can, run a few ideas by once in a while.
Totally.
No, absolutely. That's so great. It's such a great conversation. And I just love talking about mentorship. So I guess, I know you're expecting twins, and you must be excited about that. So you're going to have some well-deserved family time. But what's after that, what's next for you?
That's a tough question. I plan to come back to work. I think I couldn't stay away because ChicGeek is something I'm so passionate about. Yeah. But this experience around getting ready for parental leave, taking a year off, has been really interesting, Jade. We've had to build a lot of succession planning, training infrastructure at ChicGeek over the past few months. And it's really made me realize that, if we built companies in a way that we planned to actually like exit, or that we knew we had to train someone new to come in, we would have different kinds of companies out there. So, you know, that's kind of top of mind for me right now. But in terms of what happens next, I think I'm also looking to just play it by ear. You know, I'm typically a planner, and I'm very A-type, and I need to know what's going to happen next. The one thing I know with kids is that I'm not going to have any control, and I'm not going to know what's going to come next. So I'm trying to take it kind of day by day and really build in some flexibility into, you know, how I operate, which has been challenging for me.
Oh, yeah. You know what? There's so many great, you know, I know when we went through it, and Kathy, and, you know, we had our kids, I think it was really fortunate. A lot of our friends, like my sister-in-law, our kids are the same age. And then we had other friends that were all the same age, and we were all friends, and they were always going, you know, to the zoo, to the science center, to, you know, for walks, for coffees and things along those lines. So I think, I mean, hopefully you have a network of friends or something like that that you can tap into, where you can get some you time too. Because I can imagine, well, when we spaced out ours 3 years, and then I can't imagine having two going, woo, oh my goodness, here we go.
We will find out how it goes, Jade.
Oh, we might have to have a follow-up call like in 6 months to see how it's going.
I'll probably look very disheveled and have no makeup on, and I might be like, well, it's not going to be a video call, Jade.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do this one by phone. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Oh, and it's so, I mean, it's so rewarding, and you're just gonna love it, and I'm so excited for you and your family.
Thanks, Jade.
So I guess to kind of wrap it up, if I always ask this question, and I always seem to get different answers, but if you had one piece of advice for a small business startup or an entrepreneur, what would it be, Kylie?
I think it would be to get really good at setting boundaries. And this is important at a personal level, but also at a strategic one for your business. Because I would say, you know, in the early days of ChicGeek, we weren't super clear on the audience we were serving. So we were actually serving all women in technology and entrepreneurship, and we did even programming for girls and youth. So it was quite this broad audience. Yeah. And it spread our resources really thin and reduced our ability to have impact in the work that we do. It took a few years for us to have the courage to really refine our target audience and be like, no, we're going to stay focused on this group of intermediate tech-enabled women. And as soon as we did that, we were able to, you know, focus our programs, improve our content, provide more value to the community. So we are seeing some really strong benefits come out of setting boundaries and being focused on a business side. But also on a personal side, setting boundaries and learning when to say yes to things and no to things has been quite the learning curve for me. And I've only experienced that because there have been some tough moments where I haven't set boundaries, and it means that I'm not operating at my peak performance, that I don't treat the people around me as well as I should. It makes me a poor leader. So boundary setting, I think, is the one piece of advice that I would say get really good at.
No, I so true. I mean, that's such a valid point. I mean, and even saying no, that was something that, you know, especially coming from a business development sales background for myself, I was like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'll do that. Yeah. And then all of a sudden your own is like, oh no, I'm only going to make that. Oh, sorry, I'm going to lose money. No. It's like, it's a tough word to say. It's a small word, but it is a very tough word to say. And I mean, that's true. Knowing and the boundaries, I think those are great points. I always stress for people to say, when, you know, sometimes you just got to step away and take some me time. And that might just be taking your dog for a walk if you work from home, or putting your phone on vibrate and just listening to some tunes while you walk the dog, and then taking that 15 digital detox. And it makes a difference. I know I go play squash. I'll book a squash game during the day and say, all right, there's my, time to get out of the house, go play some squash, forget about things, talk to some people, and then I'm refreshed for, right after, and away I go. So boundaries are so important. That's a great point, Kylie. No, I love that. And I really do appreciate you coming on today. Thank you so much, especially 4 weeks out.
Well, thanks for having me, Jade. This conversation was a lot of fun, and I'll keep you posted on how it all goes.
Oh, absolutely. I really would love that. I mean, it was great, and I love everything that you're doing, and it's such a great program. I know it's up there. So for the listeners and I guess the people that are watching or seeing this after, all you have to do is click on the link in the comments section. It'll take you right to the website. You can contact them directly. You can contact myself. We will respond to any comments. And it is so important. If you need help, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. So please reach out. There are tons and tons of people out there that will gladly listen and help you. So, and I'm sure, Kylie, you can vouch for that.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, thank you again. Thank you to Healthy Heart Sleep Company for sponsoring this. They are Calgary's premier CPAP company. They have 2 locations in Calgary, one in Bridgeland, one in Deer Valley. And again, please support local. Thank you again, Kylie. I hope everybody has a great week, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.